Hey everyone, it is Fitz with your daily delivery. Hope you're doing well. I am good. It's going to be a fun week. I'm sitting in as host on the Big 12 Insiders. Brian Hanley, aka Big B, is on vacation, so I'll be at the helm Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday over at the Big 12 Insiders channel. Tuesday we have a great guest in Jason Shear from Wildcat Authority, the Arizona site on the 24/7 Sports Network. And of course, Jason absolutely nailed almost everything that happened with the Pac-12 last year with his reporting, and now has said some things about the ACC through his sources that are very interesting. And we're going to stick with that theme today because the ACC opened its media days on Monday, and Commissioner Jim Phillips stepped up to the podium and said some really interesting things that won't make Florida State and Clemson fans happy. First, your reminder, please subscribe to this YouTube channel, hit the thumbs up, leave those comments. We're sponsored by Mail Red Golf Clothing. Check out the link down in the story. They have so much lavender, guys, you're going to cry. Well, not probably, really, but go check it out. Life of Fitz code gets you 10% off. So Jim Phillips is defending his conference as he sees best, and I thought he did a good job of that. He was stern, he was strong. He made some statements, though, that kind of jumped out. One was that his job is to defend the ACC membership against forces that are currently taking place. Those forces, though, are other ACC members. So that was a little strange. He's also probably supposed to be representing Florida State and Clemson's interests, but they're at odds with the ACC. And so I think if it wasn't at full war status, on Monday, it turned to that because he really trashed those two schools for trying to escape a media deal they feel is insufficient, a revenue sharing model they feel is unfair to them as the leaders in TV ratings. And they also claim that they were deceived in signing those agreements because they were told things that simply were not true. That is all in the court system, and that's going to have to work out through the courts. But I know this, after Monday, I don't see any way Florida State and Clemson can stay in the ACC. The commissioner just declared war, basically, on two members, very publicly. And I thought that was a strong move. I think maybe he felt compelled to do so because this is growing hostile. And he also addressed the idea that the ACC will collapse if those two schools leave. Now, I agree. If those two schools leave, the ACC shouldn't collapse. It should be able to reform itself and keep going forward. But those are the two biggest brands in the conference. So when he says we're bigger than any one brand and that our relationship with ESPN will never be changed, they'll always have a relationship, well, yeah, one big brand can change what you're about. And if you lose both Florida State and Clemson, there are indications that the ESPN folks might revisit their contract in their 2027 opportunity to have a look in and maybe adjust it. That has to be a big concern for ACC schools. But I do agree that they're going to survive. I never have thought they would be completely deleted, but you never know in realignment. If a bunch of brands leave, you're in big trouble. I like to compare it to the human body. If you lose about half a gallon of blood, you're going to die. But the Big 12 bled out far more than that. However, they did it over a series of 3 or 4 times. So they never quite bled out at any one time. They recovered, had more injuries, recovered, more injuries, and they're pretty good right now with their 16-school alignment. It's going to be a fun conference. So if the ACC loses two big brands like Texas and Oklahoma, in this case Clemson and Florida State, they should be able to muscle forward. Maybe not quite the same, maybe ESPN will adjust things, but they'll still survive. And that's really Phillips' job at the end of the day. Make sure the conference doesn't get decimated. But let's remember a year ago when George Kliavkoff at Pac-12 Media Days stepped up to the podium and said some very strong words, that the conference was fine, that everything was fine with the TV deal, it was on track, it's going to be all good. And about a month later, it was all gone. So we'll see how this develops over the rest of the summer. I think it'll be a slow burn, though. It's going to take a while, maybe into 2026 before FSU and Clemson are in a new conference, and maybe 27 because of that ESPN look-in. So there's a lot to happen still, and it's gotten very interesting. But Jim Phillips, commissioner of the ACC, did not mess around on Monday. He laid it on the line.